What's up, tubers? Welcome back to the channel. Got a I'm gonna do a build segmented video for you here. If any of you have watched my unboxing for this kit, you heard me announce that I'm gonna try and do a time-lapse segmented build-up video, and I promise I'm gonna try to keep the we'll be back or stand by or all that kind of nonsense to a minimum, because I realized that once it all gets edited and cut up and sequenced together, none of that really makes any sense because you're just sitting there watching it. You didn't go anywhere. So I'm going to start with doing a little studying of the instruction booklet here. It's always a good idea for me anyways to kind of go through it and see how it's supposed to go together, get a better idea. I read online somewhere that someone made a mistake in, looks like probably here somewhere, for where to cut for the right hand, left hand drive options. So we'll take a closer look at that, and then I'm gonna get all of this stuff. I'll take a closer look at what I'm going to use, what I'm not going to use, cut it off the trees, and do some prep and get it ready for sub-assembly. I may or may not cut in between that. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm just kind of playing it by ear and try and take it easy and keep it fun, keep it light. And I want to pay attention to this build and how it goes together for the other one that I have. I have two of these kits, and see how involved it's going to be to modify it to either, oh my gosh, yes please, to lift it up, or I've got some of these semi tires that also might look kind of cool. I don't know, or just some stock-ish tires that are a little bit bigger, just a little bit bigger. These were like, from the crew chief or the honcho, or tons of. I've got stacks of these things. It's ridiculous how many of them I have, and see what's involved in maybe using those, or maybe. This is one that I would really like to see. I've seen one built up like this, tubbed and slammed, and it just looks sick. Obviously, it put a different power plant in there, but that's another option. Or street slammed look. I don't know. But again, I'm trying to not do that with this one. At the very least, I will see if I can't get those tires on there. I'm probably going to wind up using the stock ones just because, they're narrow pizza cutters. They worked. They're a good tire for this car, whatever. So I'm going to do all that stuff, and we'll cut back with see how far I got. I'm gonna turn the time lapse on now, and try to keep them short, because I know I don't want to watch a high-speed video of somebody fiddling with plastic for too long. People get bored, short attention span, squirrel. So here we go. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so I studied the manual a little bit, and I see what that guy was talking about. I'm glad I did pay attention. It's differences for right hand, left hand options. Oh, I see another one that I missed. So what I did is I take colored Sharpies, and I circled blue will represent the version I'm going for, the right hand drive. And I went through and, circled the instructions for that particular thing that needs to be done. Like the right hand drive, that side needs to be drilled out, or the placement of the gear shifters. That's seats, we'll get to that in a second. Placement of where master cylinder goes, and engine bay components, and where stuff goes for right or left. And then the red Sharpie I circled for if I can find it. The red Sharpie indicates what does it mean? Seat options, I believe that's what it was. Version 1, version 2 for seats. If I can find it. I mean, this is a pretty involved instruction booklet. Yeah, okay. The red, the only thing that indicated for me was only for German versions. I guess I'll have to look closer and see. This is the German flat kit, so I didn't know this came in an optional square rectangle version. Yet I digress. I'm rambling. The seat options for, let's see, it tells you to go to look at section 32, and this one says 38, and where you're going to drill holes for what seat you're going to use, what seat configuration. So you see 32 has that type, and 38 has that type. Different brackets, basically, different seat brackets. And there's another page here of that somewhere. Ooh, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of glad I did, because I'm already, as you can see, I'm flipping back and forth, flipping out, man.
I'm freaking out, man. You are freaking out, man.
Where'd it go? Come on. I drove right past it, didn't I? I think. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, there's a good indication of what I was talking about. I mean, there's different seat types. The detailed front seats, split for the rear seat. It's basically just the bracket is the only difference that I can see so far. And then the silver Sharpie was for which version you're doing, right hand or left hand, and where to drill holes for mirrors and antennas and the extra components. So that's hopefully gonna clear it up for me a little bit as I start to do my prep for subassembly. Which parts I'm going to use, which parts I'm not. I always like to get those pulled off to the side so they're not part of the mix. I would recommend you take the time to go through and study the manual. Check it out. Right hand, left hand, and so right hand drive, left hand drive, and which seat options you're going to use. I do remember as I was unboxing this thing, I was like, wow, that's a lot of seats. How many seats does this thing have? And that explains it. There's different types, different versions. And the seats probably aren't that important, which one do you choose, as it is which seat brackets, mounting brackets you choose. So, again, read the manual, check it out. So I'm going to go through and see which parts I'm going to use, clip them off the trees, and start doing some sanding and filing, and get ready to start gluing for sub-assembly. All right, let's speed it back up. Ooh, oh boy, that was some serious deciphering. My brother always said, trying to, make fun of the word. Someone saying deciphering, ciphering. Trying to figure out what all the little bits were for all the seat options. Ugh. So, we got options, we got choices. Got everything off the trees. Start figuring out what gets glued to what and what sequence, and wow, that kind of it just seats really kind of kicked my so whatever. Moving on. Okay, so I have no idea where these shut off at. I will in a moment when I ingest them into the timeline, but you know, it doesn't really matter. It was just time lapse of me fiddling with so many parts. Oh my goodness. So I can see why this is a level 5, not so much the parts count as the some attention needed to like I was talking about earlier, the right-hand drive, left-hand drive. There's that, and there's also which version you're going for. There's various, you know, configurations with where you're going to put the mirrors, where you're going to put, you know, antennas and stuff like that. Like there's already pre-drilled holes all over the inside of this body where you can put, you know, you can put a mirror out front, you can put it on the side, you can put them in the sides there. I wasn't clear where exactly. I mean, the instructions say put it on the side of the door with the hinge. And that's the option that I wanted to go with. And I didn't see any pre-drilled holes, but I just, you know, got my pin vise and drilled them out. And then there was a lot of confusion over, not really confusion, but, you know, ciphering, because right hand, left hand, these will go on one side or the other, and the holes for them need to get drilled out separately. The engine, you know, went together relatively easy. It was, you know, pretty basic. The seats, I didn't even bother putting the other ones together because they were so fidgety. There was just too many parts to worry about. But that's another one of the hole things. There's different holes there to drill out for the different types of brackets, which ones will fit. I like the way this one looked better. Had kind of more of a utilitarian look, and as is now, I'm just going with 2 seats instead of 3 across the front, just because, why not? And then the side bench seats still leaves lots of room to put stuff back there. That's kind of about it, really. I mean, there's all kinds of little bits and stuff that I just can't figure out what they are. I mean, there's some I do know. There's obviously there's a mirror and there's a shifter, but there's this thing has the decal logo on it, and it was kind of unclear what you drill and what goes there. I looked on the tree, it says 115C, and those are the clear parts. That part doesn't exist. So I was kind of glad that I really paid close attention and didn't drill a hole in both sides thinking a light or something was going to go there. That's where that little logo piece is going to go on the passenger side. Oh boy. I might see if I can find a snorkel or something out of my parts box, but we got where the license plate is supposed to go and the license plate lamp. There's still a couple little tiny bits that I'm probably going to glue on before I get into paint. And this was another, had to really pay attention to which one was which because of the right hand, left hand drive option. That mounts obviously on whichever side you're using, and then there's some holes to be drilled somewhere. I can't remember where, but whatever. Yet I digress. Just trying to give you a heads up if you are going to use this kit, build this kit. So far it seems pretty neat. Other than that, little, you know, just pay attention. But I looked through this parts tree multiple times, and each one of those is accounted for except for the 2 that I mentioned earlier here, these 115. In fact, it's not even listed on the parts tree page. stupid cameras turn off and turn on. Hate that. So, whatever. I was just complaining about the part that was supposed to be there but wasn't. So, whatever. It's, you know, build it the way I build it. There's also, I noticed, for the roof, they have, I mean, I imagine you could cut those out and actually put the lenses in there, but the way the instructions call is you drill the holes, and yeah, see, look at all the different holes. You drill the holes into where you want to put the lenses, the windows, and then you just plop them on top of that. But that's just going to show, I might do that and then smoke those, put some smoke over them and tint them. You know, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, I haven't decided yet. But I'm about to get this thing, glue a couple more little bits on, and then just some of these parts I've decided probably be in my best interest to glue this on first before I paint. I'll go through and double check and make sure that's not going to be a problem later, but I like to assemble and glue as much as I can before I paint. It just makes the detail painting easier later. So I'm gonna like I said, get this thing into some into paint, and we'll see how that goes. It's been a good kit so far. I've been enjoying it. It's outside the norm of our usual, you know, whatever chassis, engine, interior, body done. It's actually taken a little bit of a thought process. It's interesting where this says level 3 and then the box says, the outside of the box is level 5, but whatever. I'm rambling. I'm gonna ingest these into the computer and start putting some paint on this stuff. Get it on the trees and spray it up. Oof, oh yeah, this thing. It's kind of square. But hopefully once it gets glued onto the roof and it gets pulled down, that'll help shore it up. It's a little bit crooked. I'm probably, oh shoot, that one just disconnected. So I'm gonna have to re-glue that anyways. Yeah, that was a bit of a chore. It might not make the cut. Alrighty, got some color on stuff, got some primer on some other stuff. I've been using this stuff. I can't find my regular primer that I like, the Rust-Oleum 2X flat black, not the paint but the flat black primer. Can't find it. I got this stuff at Harbor Freight. Seemed to go on okay. It didn't, you know, it didn't splatter. It was thin enough. It could deal with it. But speaking of thin, it I don't know. It kind of didn't fill a lot of the holes there. Kind of left some little splotchy here and there. I'll go ahead and give it a sand. I may or may not put another coat on it. I don't know. Still not decided yet how to do that. The jury is still out, as it were, because this is kind of supposed to be finish color. What I might do is just put, I'll shoot a coat of just regular flat black paint over all of this black primer stuff, except for the body. I'm not sure. I'll figure out what I'm going to do with that one. But a lot of the other stuff is got color on it and ready. This Model Master stuff just worked amazing. That was no primer whatsoever. Looks just fantastic. So maybe I should have just done that with the body to begin with. This stuff is that, which one is that? The Rust-Oleum Hammered. We'll see how the panel line reacts to that. Give it a little bit of depth without smearing the paint too much. And that's about it. So I'm gonna speed the camera up and start taking all this stuff off. My little garden of stuff. Oh, look at the little garden. It's so beautiful. It's so, oops. Easy. Does it still turn? Oh, yep. Nice. My plan worked. So let's speed the camera up and do some prep and get ready to start doing the fun part, the little brushes. That's my favorite part, playing with these guys. So here we go. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Speed it up. Alright, got the finished colors on, two-tone, a little bit of touch-up to do on the top, nothing major. I'll just mask off that area and shoot a little gray on there again. I am so impressed with this Model Masters paint. I really wish I would have taken advantage of the closeout sales when I first heard of them. But, you know, at that time I was living out in the sticks, and a trip to Hobby Lobby was kind of a major endeavor, and by the time I got there, what they had left really wasn't that much. I mean, I cleaned them out. I took everything they had on the shelves, but there wasn't that much. It's like just a small box, a lot of sublime green, but a couple other neat colors. Got this light gray, they're calling it, and another one, a tan, and like 6 cans of sublime green, both enamel and lacquer, which look amazing. But I'm just super impressed with how well these work. This was no primer whatsoever, just straight out of the can, one coat. It looks amazing, hardens up really fast, looks really good, levels out really nicely. I'm super bummed to find out that they'd gone out of business and the paint's no more, so whatever. Got the finished color on the body, that royal blue, or no, angel blue, excuse me. Just a perfect color for this vehicle. Perfect OEM, British. You know, once that goes on, the little bit of overspray that's on there, but nominal. Like I said, I'll mask off just this area, do one little spurt of this light gray, and So we're ready to start putting this thing together. I'm gonna let it set for the rest of the day, maybe come back this evening and start choosing my colors, my finish colors for little details. Not a whole lot. I wasn't sure what the OEM color was on the motor, so I shot it with a metallic, almost aluminum look, and then fogged it with a little bit of blue. So, you know, once that goes in there, it'll be fine. Who cares? The haters gonna hate. Rivet counters are gonna count rivets. But I'm just so impressed with that color. It just looks great. And the paint itself, the material. So we're gonna, like I said, gonna let it set, and I'll come back later and turn the cameras up, speed them up, and get into some time lapse of me fiddling with my favorites, my customized little brush. So that'll do it for this segment, and we'll do what I just said we'll do. Words. Whew. Time for a beer. Root beer. Might as well go for a soda. Nobody hurts and nobody dies. Name the song. Name the band. So, that's just all there. Got everything. Had to do a little touch up on that because I started messing with the panel line and got a big old fingerprint right in the top. And that's kind of where I'm at now, stopping point. Got all the detail paints on all this stuff, little bits, all the tiny bits. And the next step would be to start assembling it, but my fingers are just hammered. So I'm trying to teach myself to stop at this point, take a break, let that stuff dry, go wash my hands, let the stuff set for a little bit, and you know, come back later and start putting it all together. All there is to do now is to assemble it, run the wires, and put the windows in, and start gluing it all together, and do the final assembly. Oop, that reminds me, I forgot one bit. So I'll get that painted, and like I said, start putting it together. And I'm gonna go ahead and stop the video at this point, and then do that, and then when you see me next, the next segment, it will be complete. So cool.